Hello and welcome to Ask Amanda Now. This is our short live segment where I can answer one strata question for you. You don't just have me today, you've actually got the Louie dog. He's here supporting me. You can see how well he is supporting me there. He's actually just given up. We were just sound testing and he was awake and he was engaged and he was on fire. He was performing. He was answering strata questions. He's tired now, so he's gone to sleep. We'll see if he might wake up and join us again. We might even get Barnaby over to say hello. I'm here today in my lounge room, as you can see, perhaps lounge here behind me. Just wanted a change of scenery. I have been at my desk pretty much all day, so now I'm sitting on the floor. And I was on the floor earlier doing my Pilates for the day, and I've kind of just stayed here. Now we're doing our Ask Amanda Now segment. And we do have a really great question today. Our question is from Kate, and Kate posted her question over on LinkedIn, which was awesome. And Kate's question is summarized here on the screen for you, just under my video. But in short, Kate is asking whether there is any difference between an owner's corporation's responsibility for original building defects as opposed to an owner's corporation's responsibility where there has been a failure to repair and maintain the common property. Now, this is a situation where Kate's asking me to assume that the original builder and developer are no longer around. The companies have been wound up. There is no homeowner's warranty insurance in place. Yes, perhaps there's been a claim on the building bond through New South Wales Fair Trading, but that amount of money has not been sufficient to meet the costs of rectifying all of the building defects. And Kate's asking this question in a context where there has been water penetration and there has been consequential damage to lot property because of water ingress. That is the result of original building defects. So I thought this was a really, really excellent question. Not only about this duty to repair and maintain common property, but how does that duty then play out when we're having to deal with the parallel obligation of a builder developer who may be involved, who may be around to fix defects or may not be involved, and the owner's corporation may be trying to mop up the mess that arises from that kind of a situation. So great discussion to be having for our Ask Amanda Now. I can see lots of you coming on in to join me live, which was great. I've already got a few emails from people saying that they're excited to tune in today and to hear my views on this topic. Megan is here saying hi, good to see you, Megan. Cheryl is saying hello, hello, Cheryl. And for those of you who didn't catch my opening, I do have Louie. Louie is here with us today as well, learning all about the duty of an owner's corporation to repair and maintain their common property. Hey, David from Neutral Bay, I see you there also. Alrighty, so many of you, clever cookies, who have been tuning in for a long time, who are highly engaged, who are knowledgeable strata owners, will know that under our strata legislation, an owner's corporation, and I'm specifically talking about New South Wales at the moment, being a New South Wales legal practitioner, an owner's corporation has a strict legal duty to repair and maintain its common property. And our courts in this state, our tribunal, NCAT, has told us many, many times over that this duty is unavoidable. It is absolute. And there are very few, if any, reasons for breaching this duty to repair and maintain the common property. So that is our starting point. And that is the case as soon as an owner's corporation comes into existence. So our legislation tells us that an owner's corporation comes into existence on the registration of the strata plan. So as soon as our owners corporation comes into existence, it has this duty to repair and maintain its common property, to properly repair and maintain its common property, and to do that immediately. No reason for delay. It is a duty that must be met. Now, the question that's coming through today from Kate relates to a circumstance where they have had the original builder, original developer involved for some time. I know through some more background information that Kate has provided me separately that there was an attempt at negotiating with the builder developer that didn't work out, and the builder developer has wound up the relevant companies, so they're not around anymore. And now Kate has these claims coming through, or Kate's Owners Corporation has these claims coming through from owners. When is my property going to get repaired? And I've actually been suffering some loss because I haven't been able to live in my unit or to rent it out. What are you doing about that, Owners Corporation? I want you to meet that loss. So does the Owners Corporation have anything to fall back on? Is it a good excuse that the Owners Corporation has been doing its best and has been communicating with the builder developer, has been trying to get them to fix the problem, perhaps for a year or so? I'm not sure of all of the details. And they just haven't been able to get that across the line. Does that let the Owners Corporation off the hook when it comes to these claims from lot owners? Well, what I want to share with you is a specific part of our legislation in New South Wales, which may be some help to Kate and to others who are in a similar situation. The section of our Strata Schemes Management Act that tells us we have, an owners corporation has, a legal duty to repair and maintain the common property. That is section 106 of our Strata Schemes Management Act. And there is a really interesting subsection within section 106. I'm just going to share my screen with you now to show you section 106. Christina, who's helping me out here, has the link for you as well. You can see here that this is where many of you will be familiar with this. This is where we have the duty of the Owners Corporation to properly maintain and keep in a state of good and serviceable repair the common property and any personal property vested in the Owners Corporation. Now, what I wanted to highlight for you today is this subsection 4. If an owners corporation has taken action against an owner or other person in respect of damage to the common property, it may defer compliance with subsection 1, that's where our primary duty to repair and maintain is, in relation to the damage to the property until the completion of the action, if the failure to comply will not affect the safety of any building, structure, or common property in the strata scheme. So what this section is telling us is that an owners corporation can, in particular circumstances, not comply with its duty to repair and maintain the common property. It can defer or perhaps put on hold its obligation to repair and maintain the common property if it has taken action against an owner or another person in respect of damage to the common property. Now, a builder developer who is responsible for damage to the common property, for building defects, would squarely fall within that definition of a person who an owner's corporation could be taking action against, or if the property in another circumstance had been damaged by another owner, then perhaps the owners corporation could take action against that person, seeking orders that that person fix the damage. We do have cases through our tribunal that have discussed, that have described, that have interpreted this subsection, and we do have some guidance about what this means. If an owners corporation is in legal proceedings with an original builder developer about building defects, if an owners corporation has lodged a complaint with the Office of Fair Trading, then that is an action within the meaning of this subsection 4, and an owners corporation may put on hold its duty to repair and maintain while that action is running its course. Now, the reason that this is important to understand is because we may have, as I understand it in Kate's case, While this action is playing out, either before the tribunal or through the Office of Fair Trading, we may have owners who are suffering some losses, who have lost rent because they're not able to rent their properties. That's one of the most common financial losses in this situation. And the way that our tribunal has applied this subsection is that the claims for damages may actually start and stop depending on what else is happening in the background with the action against the builder developer. So for the period that the owners corporation is claiming against the builder developer, then the duty to repair and maintain the common property, and therefore the owners corporation's exposure to a damages claim from a lot owner, may actually be deferred. And then the word that I've seen used in the tribunal cases is that that duty may then actually be resurrected. So we might go through periods of time where the owners corporation is not responsible for those losses while it is making those claims. But the minute those claims are finished, then, and if the property has not been repaired and the lot owner is continuing to suffer loss and damage, then that action is resurrected. The lot owner then has the ability to make those claims and the owners corporation becomes liable for them. So really interesting situation where you might have a process, as would normally be the case, where you get reports prepared about damage to the common property, about the need for repair and maintenance work, where you then have some negotiations with the person who you say should be responsible, whether that's the original builder or whether it's another circumstance and it's a lot owner who's responsible for making those repairs. You got your reports, you're having your negotiations, but for all of that period, you as an owners corporation are still responsible for repairing and maintaining, and you are on a strict reading of the law. You are in breach of your Section 106 duty to repair and maintain. And an owner suffering loss and damage can seek to claim that loss and damage. But the minute you then commence an action, you lodge a complaint with Fair Trading against the builder, you commence legal proceedings, then you can rely on Section 106, subsection 4, to defer, to put on hold your responsibility to repair and maintain. And then if you don't have that responsibility because it's deferred, then you can't be in breach of it. And then the lot owners can't claim their damages for that period of time, right? Okay, everybody with me there? Very interesting, and it might be a situation that is relevant to you, Kate, and to your community if you have owners who are claiming things like loss of rent for periods of time, which could be 12 months, could be 18 months, it could be quite extensive periods of time if they've had this water ingress problem and you've been trying to get the original builder to come back and fix it. You've had actions in place before Fair Trading and perhaps before the tribunal or even before a court, and then those actions have ended. They haven't quite come to fruition one way or the other. From what I'm understanding, I think the developer companies, builder developer companies, have been wound up. So it's all ended in a bit of a splat, unfortunately. Then when the owners corporation is looking at those claims from owners, it needs to be very aware of those differing periods of time and what it was doing, when it was taking action, when it wasn't taking action, and at what periods its duty was actually triggered and what periods it could rely on Section 106, subsection 4. So I'm not sure, Kate, if you're aware of that subsection, but if you weren't, then that may be helpful to you. A few more hellos that have come on in while I have been sharing that legislation with you. Petra, hey, good to see you. Layla, lovely to see you. Suresh, I'm just going to put Suresh's comment on the screen here. My owners corporation has actually claimed for the defects from the builder 10 years ago, but they did end up using it for some other purpose instead of fixing it. So what are my rights as a new owner who just recently purchased from a previous owner? Yeah, great question, Suresh. I understand that to mean that your owners corporation did get a settlement from the builder for defects in the common property, but those defects are still outstanding. Your owners corporation hasn't fixed the problem. Well, I'm not sure if you were here earlier when I was explaining that strict legal duty of an owners corporation to repair and maintain the common property. So it doesn't matter whose fault it was. It doesn't matter that the owners corporation didn't get enough money in its payout from the builder, for example, or from the insurer, and it doesn't have enough money to fix the problem. If the common property, and this is common property, not lot property, if the common property needs repairing, needs maintaining, then the owner's corporation is legally responsible for doing that work. Doesn't matter when it happened. If it needs to be fixed now, then they should be fixing it now, and they should be paying for that. Shiresh. Seeing a comment here from Patrina saying, oh, 40-year-old building situated right on the beach. Not sure if you're expressing there the problems with concrete cancer that we see there, Patrina. Michelle is saying, speaking about the Design and Building Practitioners Act, is anybody else experiencing price gouging by engineering companies due to the commencement of the new legislation? Yeah, I'm not going to read through all of that comment, Michelle. But yeah, it is really difficult at the moment to get contractors, I know, to come to site, to quote on work. And look, you guys tell me, I'm seeing some pretty hefty quotes out there for those who are qualified for waterproofing work, is mainly where we're seeing this need to comply with the Design and Building Practitioners Act. I'm seeing some really hefty quotes. Charges for site visits, quotes to quote. I think I was discussing with Rena on the podcast a few episodes ago about having to obtain quotes just to get contractors out to quote. I know there's a lot of work being done behind the scenes. Specifically, the Owners Corporation Network, OCN, is involved in discussions with government, ACRA as well. Caroline McConaughey, who sits on the board at ACRA, they have all been involved in discussions with New South Wales government to try and work out these problems that are arising for existing buildings trying to do rectification work and comply with the Design and Building Practitioners Act. So yeah, you're not alone in experiencing that problem, Michelle. Doug is saying, hi, Amanda. It's a while since I caught the live show. Interesting topic so far. Great to see you, Doug. So today is an Ask Amanda Now session, and that is generally shorter than our Friday Live. I was here for a longer Friday Live last week, and I hope to be again next week. Next Friday, I will be in my Sydney office, probably. So I'll look forward to joining you there. An Ask Amanda Now session, Doug, if you haven't caught one before, is where I answer one Strata question for a viewer or a listener who has asked their question earlier. And today I was able to answer Kate's question about an owner's corporation's legal obligation to repair and maintain the common property, even when there has been a builder developer involved, and we're talking about original building defects, which sadly, and I completely understand, have nothing to do with any mismanagement on the part of your owner's corporation or any failure on the part of your committee or your strata manager. It is an incredibly unfortunate situation for owners in our new buildings to be faced with, but our law is quite clear and quite strict that you are an owner's corporation. You as the owner's corporation have this duty. And if you can take an action against somebody else, like a builder developer, to meet that duty, then you should be taking that action if that's what your owner's corporation has decided is in your best, in everybody's best interest. And while you're taking that action, your duty to comply with the law is deferred for that period of time. So thank you for your comment there, Doug. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Okay, I am going to... Oh, great. I have just seen, I think Kate is here with us. I'm just going to skip to Kate's comment. Is the time spent conducting investigations, preparing a scope of works and tendering considered as part of carrying out the repairs? Also, the time to raise the special levy to fund the works count. Kate, I just want to be clear that where you're asking about time spent carrying out the repairs, what I was talking about earlier is that your duty to repair and maintain the common property is put on hold during the time that you're taking action against another person responsible. And in the cases that I have had a look at, and I was just refreshing on those this afternoon, time spent conducting investigations, getting scopes of work, tendering, none of that is considered action taking against a person responsible. the action taking has to be some kind of legal action. It has to be lodging a complaint with fair trading, which is how you kick off a claim under the Home Building Act, or tribunal proceedings or court proceedings. It has to be some kind of legal action. And we do have tribunal cases that say that when looking at Section 106, subsection 4. So when you're asking me about time spent actually carrying out repairs, I'm not sure what your question is going to there. For as long as an owner is continuing to suffer some consequential loss as a result of the owner's corporation's failure to repair and maintain common property, then they have a claim that they are able to make against the owner's corporation. As for the success or otherwise of that claim, that's not something that I can give any guidance on in this kind of a forum. But yeah, let me know if you want to post another comment there to give me some more clarity around that question. But when we're talking about putting on hold that legal duty, deferring it, putting it on hold, that's the kind of language that we see used in the cases, then we're talking about that is only happening at the time when you're taking action against the person responsible. And I'm pretty sure from your message that your action is over. Your action against the builder developer, sadly, is over. Alrighty, that is all we have time for Ask Amanda Now. I have seen so many of you come on in live, which is great. It has been lovely to spend this 15, 20 minutes or so with you, covering off Kate's excellent question. I'm sure there will be more discussion arising from that one. And I know that there are some comments here that I haven't quite got to yet. But I am wrapping up. And look, Louis did not even move. Did not even move. He's had a big day. And I'm sure we will have a lovely weekend as well. I hope that you do too. I hope that you are dry and safe wherever you are. And I will look forward to being in town next week, being in the Big Smoke, and coming to you from my Sydney office at some point next Friday. If you're not on our email list where you get notified first up of when we are going live for a Friday, and whether it is a Friday live or a shorter Ask Amanda Now, then you can get on that list by heading over to yourstrataproperty.com.au. You can sign up there. And otherwise, I'll catch you all on a screen near you sometime soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.